Hello, everybody. This is Helen Vermillion, and this is week 4 of our box making class. It's our last class. The first session, what we did was made that instant box, and we used that template. And you're kind of limited to the size of the template. You can make it more than a 4-sided template. You can do it 3-sided, or even 5-sided or 6-sided. But you need something to make that template. And then the second week we made the same box, but we put I think we put feet on it. Oh no, we put a lid on it. The first week we put feet on it, and then we put a lid on the second week. The third week I showed you how to make it the traditional way, where you make your clay leather hard, and then you have to cut the edges at a 45-degree angle so they fit perfectly. That requires some scoring and the use of slip. Okay, and then with that shape, you can make any kind of shape. You just probably, if you want something complicated, you probably should make a paper pattern first, and then you will need to use that paper pattern to cut out your leather hard pieces. Okay, today I'm just going to show you how to make 2 pinch pots. We put them together, and then we can shape it into some kind of an abstract shape and still turn it into like a box. And it doesn't have to be a square shape. It could be round, or maybe shaped like an eggplant, or even a zucchini, some kind of a shape. So I'm going to show you one where that's the method I used to make this one. And this one is round. And this one I did cut it so that it's horizontally even, but because of that, I had to put a flange on it, okay? And if you wanted to, you can carve the top like I did here. Now this one, I, I, I think I did it the same way, and I did a triangle shape. It's triangular, okay? I did carve it heavily, okay? So I cut it. And on this one, I didn't put a flange, I didn't make a flange on it. What I did was I made a little recessed area so that the lid can fit and doesn't slide off, right? So today we'll do the pinch pot method and see what happens. Okay, so I have 2 pieces of clay, and then this is like a different new clay that I'm using. It's a very gritty, and that means it has a lot of grog in it. But what you want to do is pinch a hole in here, and then let me do it with this one. You put a hole in there. Just don't squeeze the rim as much as possible. So you have to do this a little bit at a time. You have to squeeze and try to get it thin and evenly. I would keep the walls less than half an inch, okay? If you go to about a quarter of an inch, it might get a little bit flimsy depending on how wet your clay is. Now, sometimes I have to put my thumb in there and press it against the table and roll it to thin it out. Okay, I'm still trying to be careful not to widen the rim, okay? So we'll just keep working on it. It does take time. You have to do it a little. If you squeeze it all at once or try to thin it in one push, it'll crack the clay. Okay, I've got somewhere here that it's kind of dry and cracking, so I'll try to squeeze that together. That's a little bit of water. Don't add too much water, then it'll get too wet and too soft. So I'm just rolling it. Just keep doing this. And try to get the, it's cracking real bad here. That means it's a bit dry here. Squeeze it, smush it as much as possible. So the rim just opens up eventually, but you don't want to squeeze the rim part as much as possible. and try to feel the walls and see if you can get them to be as even as possible. Okay, my bottom is still too thick. Wet my fingers a little bit on the inside, support it, and what I'm doing is I'm thinning it out like that. Okay, and then I'll get like a dry place that cracks, and I'll put a little bit of water and push it. This clay is a little bit drier than what I'm used to. So I'm still thinning out the bottom. Okay, it's pretty thin on the bottom. Okay, right now I'm trying to even out the walls, trying to make them all the same thinness. Okay, it's a little bit less than a half an inch. Now, what you want to do is make this as evenly flat as possible. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but okay. I'm actually going to wet this guy because he's really dry now on me. Kind of wet the outside. Okay, now I have to do this one. Once again, I'll support it on the outside and I'll just push it out this way a little bit at a time. Okay, don't do it all at once. Okay, and then I'm going to check all the walls, squeeze it gently. Still not trying to squeeze the rim, okay? The rim is probably going to be thicker than the rest of the thing, but that's okay because I'm going to join it there and I need that extra clay. Okay, I need to wet this too. And gently tap it, see if I can flatten the edge. Okay, it's cracked right here. I'm going to squeeze it. Really squeeze those cracks. And just smush it together. Okay. All right, that's pretty close. All right, now normally you want these two to match up, so I'm just going to squeeze it open just a little bit. And that's not going to match up. Okay, that's okay. Okay, that's going to be pretty close. Okay. Now we're going to join these two together and we're going to trap the air. I need some kind of, I'll put this down as a buffer so it doesn't stick to the banding wheel. Okay. So I'm going to score this and I'm going to score this, and I do have some slip. So I'll put slip on it this time. And I do score it pretty heavily. I'll do the same on this side. And right now, the shape is going to be all distorted and everything, but that's okay because we can reshape it. All right, I've got some slip here. And I'm using a brush to put it on. I could use my fingers. It's a generous amount. Okay, let's see if I can get this to evenly stick. Okay, we want to seal up any holes because we don't want the air to escape. So I'm just going to twist it just a little bit to see if I can get the slip to. Okay, now there might be some gaps and the air might escape. So I am going to take, let's see, I'll take this, okay? And what I'm going to do is this. Okay, once again, I'm going to push, gently push some of the top clay down into the bottom piece. Okay, and then I'm going to actually flip this over so it'll be easier and do it in the opposite direction. Okay. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the same clay and I need to make this a little bit wetter because it is so dried out. So I'll just wet it a little bit and then kind of mix it together and probably wet it some more. Really mix it together real good. Because I want this piece to be a little bit wetter than this guy. And this one's really drying out. So I'm just going to dab a little bit of water. Mix this really good. I think I'll add a little bit of water. I don't need all this much, so just kind of make holes in it and put some water in there. Mix it up. Okay, it's getting there. Okay, so we're going to roll out a little worm. And very gently push without popping your piece, because right now we have air trapped in there. And we're just going to fill in that space. Okay, I need some more. Okay. Let's put this aside. Now, if you wanted to make a bigger shape, round ball, you can take 2 of these, okay? You can make your little pinch pot, make a larger one like this by pressing the ball of clay in here. You need some kind of plastic or some kind of barrier. And then you have two of these. And when they kind of like stiffen up, you can flip one over the other and do the same process. And you'll have a big piece, okay? All right, now I need to smooth this out. So I'm going to take a stiff wooden rib and kind of push this up this way. I'm gently pushing and pulling at the same time. Okay, and I'm actually going to flip it over because it's easier this way. The air should be trapped in here, and hopefully I don't have a hole somewhere that it's going to escape. All right, so I've got that done. Now I'm going to take my flexible rib, all right, and just smooth it out as much as possible. Okay, so we've got it pretty sealed, pretty good. I think I need to wet this more. See if I can spritz it. Okay. Now I need to shape it. So I could take a paddle, and you have to do this a little bit at a time. If you just whack it or push it, you're going to split the clay and the air is going to escape. So I'm just going to paddle it gently, and we kind of have to decide what kind of shape we want this. So I'm going to try something a little bit more abstract this time. Let's see. And sometimes my paddle is going to get sticky because it's absorbing some of the clay. My paddle doesn't have it, is not covered in canvas. If you want, you can try to put some canvas and cover it in canvas. Okay, so it's starting to become, now the bottom's still flat because the clay is wet. All right, sometimes you can kind of roll it to get the sides a little bit more even, but very gently. You have to be careful with this. You don't want to pop it. Okay, so maybe I will turn this into, let's see. Maybe I'll have it something like this. Okay, so I can feel the air in there. If I'm real careful, I can gently shape it. I don't want to, it can't get too dry and split on me either. And like I said, this clay just dries out faster. And it does have a lot of grog in it, so maybe that has something to do with it. Okay, so gently, gently, you can shape it very gently. Okay. Let's see what kind of shape I can get. Okay. Kind of making it pointy here. Kind of looks like a bird shape at this moment. Maybe that's a good thing. Okay. And if you don't have anything in mind, just play around with it. Let it talk to you. Let it become something you weren't expecting. I have nothing in mind right now. I thought it was going to be more like an eggplant, but maybe it's going to be more like a possum. Okay, I'm just kind of gently squeezing this, and there's some thin spots, so I can feel it because they move a lot easier than other spots. All right, actually it looks like a seal head, doesn't it? And I'm just going to gently, if you hit it too hard, anywhere that's too thin is going to burst open. So just going to gently tap it. This guy needs to A little bit. Oh, it's starting to look like a penguin shape. Okay, we'll aim for something abstract. Now, since it's pointy right here, I actually can add some clay and turn this like into a handle. Okay, if this is the lid. You gotta do it a little bit at a time, squeeze it a little bit at a time. Okay, I don't like this dent right here. Just gonna see if I can flatten it out. Now, I like this tool because you can flex it, and so you can do a curve. You can kind of push and pull and do a curved space, curved shape, I mean. Okay, a little bit thinner down here, up here. And I'm going to keep spritzing it. You don't want it sopping wet. And wherever it looks like I might have a crack, I'm going to push and pull. Make sure it doesn't split open on me. Now, this is my first time using this clay for this process, so I'm not sure how it's working, kind of learning. Okay, now making that kind of a shape right there. Okay, I think this is going to topple over, so I need to kind of give it a better base here. And I'm just, right now, I'm just shaping it with the palms of my hand, making that ridge right there. If you use your fingers, it'll just make it uneven, and it'll poke a hole in it. So I'm using like a flatter surface. Okay, kind of liking that. Let's see where this is going to go. Okay, the bottom is real flat right now. As it slowly dries and hard stiffens up, I can round up the bottom, okay? Right now, it's just, the clay is too wet and this is heavy, so it's flattening the bottom. So I'll worry about the bottom a little bit later. Right now. And you want to make it, your final product, as smooth as possible. Get rid of any dents. You can texture this if you want. You can, add stuff and everything. But right now, let's try something where we get it as smooth as possible. I've got a dent there still. So I'll push and pull and see if I can get some of this clay to move there. Okay. Starting to look like a seed. So I kind of rounded the bottom, but it's probably going to flatten out on me, so I'll keep an eye on it and keep working on it. And I'm going to check it to make sure it's not going to topple over. Right now your clay is wet, so you can't really tell when it's dry if it's going to fall over, center of gravity kind of thing. I think it's going to topple over. So I'll just keep moving it. And well, now I have to start thinking about where the lid is going to open up or how it's going to open up. Let me wet this some more. Okay. And compress it some more. We'll see how I'm getting it really smooth. Okay, you just want to keep working on it and get it as smooth as possible. That's a good exercise to try. So many pieces I see are just kind of way too lumpy, you know. Okay, I'm gonna move this more. Okay, on this piece, I'm just going to define more of a, like a wavy line here. Okay. So this isn't the finished shape. It just needs to be kept working on it, okay, but I need to go ahead and decide where I'm going to put the lid opening. Let's see. We're going to do it just like the second box we made where we put the lid on. This one already has the, you know, lid, the clay on there. And then the second box, we put the lid on, then we kind of cut it open. So let's see where I wanted to match, go with along with the design. So this might be fun. Okay, so I can test a couple of designs. Okay, I did one like that. I'm not too sure if I like that. So I'll erase that. Okay, maybe I just want it to be super wavy. Okay, so maybe I want it to be like that. Okay. Or I could bring it up here. Like that. So I might want to do something like that. I think I like that better. So let me clean this curve up better. You want your curves to be as, you don't want any angular places on your curve, okay? Like right here, it kind of goes like that. You want to make a beautiful curve. Okay, so I think that's going to be my opening. All right. And when I cut this open, remember to, I think I need a notch. I think this is going to fall off. So hold on just a second. I got to make a different design here. And things don't have to be symmetrical. I think I'm going to make it like this instead. That way I know for sure that the lid isn't going to slide right off. Yeah, but I don't like that point, so I'm going to get rid of that point. Okay, I think I like it better like that. So let me clean that up. Okay, not sure if the hand is going to be able to get in there. Maybe I could fix that. It's a little bit too wet for me to cut this open right now, but remember last time we cut it at that 45-degree angle, and then we put little pieces of paper so that, and then we had to put the lid back on because we wanted to dry without it, this, make sure the lid matches. So we let it dry together with the lid back on. I think I like that better. Okay, it's a bit, and then I need to fix this. There's something wrong here. So I'll erase that. So notice I keep trying different designs, I think I don't like that. Now I also have to keep in mind that the lid's going to sit evenly. It's not going to fall off because one part is heavier. So let me look at it. It looks like it is going to stay on. I hope. I'm going to change my mind again. Okay, something tells me to go a little bit lower on this side. So instead of that first line, I'm going to go for the second line. Okay, I think I'm going to like that, and I think it should stay on. Yeah. Maybe let me try something here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to change this again. Okay, I did move this up a little bit. I was afraid that if I lowered it too much, this is too much weight, it might fall off. Okay, so we are at this point and a little bit too wet to cut it open. So what I'm going to do now is keep shaping it, keep cleaning it. It's sagged already. It's kind of flat on the bottom. Let me move the towel so you can see it's gotten really flat. So I'm just going to have to keep an eye on it and keep rounding the bottom. And until you just have to do this a little bit at a time, and probably take an hour or two for it to set up enough that it won't sag anymore. Have to do it a little bit at a time. Keep checking its shape. Okay. So I am just going to keep working on this. I lost my S curve. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, it's actually not going to be a round bottom. I'm going to indent this a lot. Well, not that much, but, and right now it's a little bit too soft for it to hold its shape, but see on the bottom right there, it's got that kind of a shape. Needs center of gravity probably there. Okay, so I need to keep an eye on this and then keep shaping it. And once it's shaped, I can take a long blade. You really need a long blade when you cut open this lid. And remember, once you stick the knife in, don't keep pulling it out, put it in another place. Just give it a 45-degree angle, the best you can, and cut it all at once. Lift it off, okay? And then you need to have these prepared, but you'll put little pieces of paper on the rim, put the lid back on, keep shaping it. And when it's slightly drier, where if you lift it up and it doesn't distort that much, you can clean that seam. There was a seam on the inside somewhere. I think mine might run this way, and clean that seam. Later on, when it gets a little bit stiffer and drier, you can carve out the excess, okay, carefully, because there's going to be some very thick areas. But right now, the first step is for me to keep an eye on this and continue to shape it until it's stiff enough that I can open it. But I want to keep smoothing the outside, get rid of as many lumps as possible. Okay, and as it dries, it's kind of fun. You can really, shape it and get it just the way you want. Don't let it crack up, and don't let it get cracked. And right now I have the air trapped in there still, okay? So once I open the lid up, the air is not going to support your shape anymore. Okay, and if you get a crack in it, you're going to lose your air too. So let me see. And you want to keep looking at its profile and keep perfecting it. Okay, get rid of any lumps or bumps you have. And at the end, when it's leather hard, you can actually take a squeezed out sponge and really smooth it out and get rid of every little lump and bump on there. Okay, so right now I have it like this, and what I'm probably, I think I need to, oh, it's dry. I need to squeeze this more. And what I'll do is, I probably should attach something here. So be a handle, but I'm not going to do that because I want to make a little hole here. So I wet it, and I'm trying to gently, very carefully try to shape it. It's probably going to be really thick inside here because I squeezed the clay together. So once I can open it up and handle it, I can scrape out a lot of the excess clay that may have accumulated here. Okay, I'm just going to shape this guy and probably cut a hole later on, and then I can put attach a cord, a pretty cord to it, and that would be part of the handle. Okay, when you make something out of clay, it doesn't mean you can't add other media to it. You can, if it's not going to be a piece used in for food or something, you can actually paint it with acrylics. You can glue stuff to it. Okay. So I'm kind of shaping this like this right now. I'm not going to cut a hole in it yet because I haven't finished shaping it, and I don't want, just in case the air might escape out of there. But this is where this hole is going to be for the cord. Or I think it's going to be there. Yeah, it's probably just going to be a really short thing. So as the clay dries, you can continue to smooth it, shape it, and all kinds of fun things. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this and the various methods we can make a little box or container. This one's obviously not squarish, but an abstract shape. Okay. All right. So we'll see you next time.